A very good morning to all my students. I welcome you to the English literature class. In this class, we will be doing the poem The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. First, I would be briefing you about the poet, that is Thomas Hardy, one of the most renowned poets and novelists in English literary history. Thomas Hardy was born on June 2nd in 1840 in the English village of Higher Bockhampton in the county of Dorset. He died in 1928 at Maxgate, a house he built for himself and his first wife, Emma Lavinia Gifford, in Dorchester, a few miles from his birthplace. Hardy's youth was influenced by the musicality of his father. Musicality means the musical talent of his father, a stonemason and fiddler. Fiddler, one who plays a violin, often described as the real guiding star of Hardy's early life is his mother, Jemima Hand Hardy. In 1910, Hardy was awarded the Order of Merit and was also, for the first time, nominated the Nobel Prize in Literature. He was nominated for the prize 11 more times. He became ill in December 1927 and died in January 1928. Though frequently described as gloomy and bitter, Hardy's poems pay attention to the transcendent possibilities. Transcendent means the capabilities which are above the range of human experience, possibilities of sound, line, and breath, the musical aspects of language, because he was quite influenced by the musical talent of his father. As Irving Howe noted in Thomas Hardy, any critic can, and often does, see all that is wrong with Hardy's poetry, but whatever it was that makes for his strange greatness is hard to describe. When Hardy died in 1928, his ashes were deposited in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey, and his heart, having been removed before cremation, was interred. Interred means buried. And interred in the graveyard at Stinsford Church, where his parents, grandparents, and his first wife were buried. This is about Thomas Hardy. Now, the themes of the poem. Two main: fear and perseverance. Perseverance means determination. If I look into detail, the themes, the first theme is search for meaning. If I talk about the speaker who is mentioned here in the poem, is in a very, you can say, difficult situation. Why? Because he has lost all his hope for humanity's future. He feels that the entire landscape, the entire place, the region has become desolate. And he sees that people have isolated themselves from each other from their neighbors, and they have confined themselves inside their house where they are just enjoying their lifestyle, their life with their dear ones. They are not bothered about the society and the community in which they are staying. You'll see Hardy himself mourned for the passing of the agricultural society. Now, this is a time when there is a shift in the society from agriculturist society towards industrialization. If you see this poem, The Darkling Thrush, it is a meditative poem of Thomas Hardy, in which he is talking about, he is describing the dying of the old world at the turn of the century, which is changing from 19th century to 20th century. And because of the new concept which had come up, that was industrial revolution, lot of changes have also come in the society. Not only in the society, in the polity, economy, and even the religious beliefs. And here he feels, that is Hardy, he feels that everything has changed. Their old traditional civilization has come to an end. It has decayed. And he does not know what will replace it. How will it change? So he is deeply depressed by this present state of affairs. And while he is going and pondering over these thoughts, because he's trying to search the exact and the real meaning, that what has happened to the world, why people have become self-centered, why they are not into the culture, into the tradition of the rural life. There he is quite perplexed, he's quite confused. He's not able to react to this new situation. The speaker's connection to the past has been severed. Severed means he's got a lot of emotional attachment and he cannot find the meaning. You can say, at present, the situation, what he's saying here around him, that is ending up of his century, of his era, the era of agriculturists, peasants, farmers, suddenly changing to machineries, a mechanized world. People have also become like machines. They are not having those sentiments and emotions toward each other. And while he's so much depressed, he's so much lonely, he hears the singing of a thrush. A thrush is a bird. And when he listens to this song, he feels that the song is offering little in the way of meaning. Why? Because when he looks at the thrush, the physical appearance, external physical appearance of the thrush is quite depressing. The bird is frail, it's gaunt. Frail means weak, gaunt means lean, very weak, as if facing a lot of hunger crisis. It's scrawny. Scrawny means unattractive, bony. But then the singing, the song that it is singing is full of joy and happiness. It symbolizes a lot of joy and positivity. And here he says, any meaning that new beginning might bring, with it is nowhere to be found. When I try to compare the song with the surrounding, with the landscape, and even if I say that the bird is very happy or full of excitement, positivity, you can say lot of optimism. But then, if you look around in the landscape, there is nothing to motivate it. On the terrestrial land, there is nothing that could actually motivate the bird to sing. But then, too, the bird is going on singing. Although the song is so beautiful, so melodious, and the moment the speaker hears it, he feels so relaxed. But then he sees its song is not changing the environment. Nothing in the environment is changing. It is all dark, still. The entire landscape is all dead. He uses the word corpse. Corpse means dead body. The place looks like a crypt, a burial place, dead, totally decayed. Second theme is unexpected hope. Both the speaker and the tiny thrush are up against a cruel, isolated world where people have separated themselves from each other. If you see your present condition when you're facing this pandemic, I think so this is the most apt situation to do the poem The Darkling Thrush, because you all are in this isolating situation. But then here we have a different circumstance. But that time it was all over a different story, where from farmers and peasants and agriculture, suddenly life was changing to machine, to industries. So that impact, especially on the farmers and the peasants, people who were living in the rural area, for them this was a depressing situation. So the speaker here is also undergoing the same experience. He belongs to the rural life, a lot of tradition, lot of culture, lot of memories attached to this place. But slowly and gradually, when the industrial revolution started, people started moving towards cities, leaving their families, homes, homeland, property, and going towards city where they could get better jobs and all that. So what is happening? Slowly and gradually, that rural life is coming to standstill. It has become totally desolate. And in all this, the poet or the speaker, when he's so depressed, so lonely, he hears the song of the thrush. The thrush clearly, almost at the verge of its end of its life, being weak, frail, dull, but then also is full of happiness, full of hope. The appearance of the bird resembles the speaker's, who feels weak and depressed from within. The bird looks weak from outside, physical appearance, but the speaker is weak and depressed from his heart. But then the only difference between the bird and the speaker is, however, the thrush doesn't merely die quietly in that depressing atmosphere. It's not negative, doesn't have those negative approach towards life. Although the bird knows that its life is very less, the lifespan is very less, it's going to die. But then those few hours, few days till the time it is alive, it wants to keep the hope of joy, hope of life alive. Like you are in a dark room and suddenly one ray of light enters the room. So that one ray of life gives you this hope that yes, one day I will be out of this darkness. Same is the condition here. when the bird comes here, the thrush comes here and starts singing. It sings even though there is no cause for singing. The surrounding it's winter, snowy, dark, grey, dead, silent. There is no partner of the bird anywhere around. There is no greenery. There are no flowers, nothing. But the thrush sings because it feels the sense of a blessed hope that can tremble through or pass through this dying day. Weakening eye of the day means this dying day. In short, the thrush sings because even though it nears the end of its life, it still values adding beauty. There are some people who find hope in the worst conditions. They always have this feeling of positivity. They are quite optimist towards each and every negative situation or condition that comes in their way. So that is unexpected hope. Out of the blue, you suddenly realize, oh, forget about it. I don't bother how long I'm going to stay inside my house, how long this lockdown will go on. But I will keep myself occupied in one or the other job. If I cannot go to school, if I cannot meet my friend, fine, doesn't matter. I'll read books. I'll make new friends. If I can talk to them on phone, you have a very good facility that you are living in a world of gadgets, technology. So if I cannot meet, fine, I'll have a video chat. So this is unexpected hope. When you feel that everything has come to an end and suddenly, out of blue, you find something different coming up in your life. Positivity. Not being hopeless. Not being negative like the speaker is. The bird's song becomes even more evident when compared to the speaker's hopelessness. The speaker has lost all hope. He's become very negative. When he's looking around in the landscape also, he is taking it in such a negative manner. He's so pessimist that he cannot bring himself out of this trauma. That okay, it's life. Whatever I have at present, I should enjoy with that. No, that is missing in the speaker. But this thought is there in the bird. The bird's song reminds audiences that even when hope for change, the germ and birth, germ means germination, feels shrunken hard and dry, the nature finds a way to carry on. When everything comes to end, everything is devastated. Then also the nature finds its way to carry on. If you remember, people had been, or scientists or geologists, a lot of people have been saying that plant trees, make your country green, make your world, make your earth green, stop pollution. As human beings, we were not bothered about it. We were in our own life, in our own lookouts. But suddenly, nature found a different way. And that is the lockdown. When we all are in isolation. Nobody is going out. No factories working. No vehicles on the road. All of a sudden, the pollution has come to an end. And now this is the time when the nature is healing itself. You all had heard about hole in the ozone layer. Few days back there were news that that layer is getting healed up on its own. The air is totally fresh. Have you ever experienced a rainfall at the end of April in the last 10 years? April was considered to be a month of scorching heat, humidity, form condition and it's sweating and all that. But then you see, you have showers, it is becoming cooler. So this is how the nature find its way to bring changes or to mend the depletion which is being caused by humans. Next, nature's resilience. Hardy always believed that great truth could be found in nature if people stopped to observe them. He highly valued humankind's relationship with the nature, believing it to be far superior to man's relation with machinery and technology. Now, when you move towards city, you see you are away from the natural beauty, the natural environment. If you are in the city, you'll hardly find trees, you'll hardly find forest, pastures. But if you are in the rural area, these things are quite common. But when industry and technology and machinery came up, people started moving towards the city, leaving their own homeland. And this moment, all Hardy could see was that the nature was suffering, it was being depleted. A lot of pollution emitted by the industries. People are cutting down trees to make industries. Forest areas, beautiful areas being cut down to make industries. Everywhere he looked, the natural world appeared to be dying. He says, he emphasizes, with the emphasis on the industrialization, the natural world appears to be preparing for its eventual death. Slowly and gradually, what is happening? That nature is coming to an end. The countryside itself now looks like a gloomy spectre grey. Spectre grey, if I talk about, means something which is very dull. Grey means dark, like ghost. Crypt is like a burial place, a cremation ground. But then he says, but nature doesn't give into Hardy's depressing outlook for the future. He has no hope. He has lost all his hope. He feels that nothing will happen. But then all of a sudden, the thrush continues to sing despite being weak, bony. It clings to the bleak twigs. Bleak means thin twigs of the trees, branches of the trees, and goes on singing. In short, the thrush doesn't care that its days are numbered. It's going to die. Because if there is no greenery, there are no trees, there are no flowers, what will the bird eat? Already facing a lot of problems. It's all cold, it's all snow. But then also it continues singing. Whether for its own enjoyment or because its biological makeup prevents it from staying fervorless. Fervorless means lacking any passion. In this gloomy surrounding also the thrush grows and goes on singing praises of life, of joy and happiness. And here both the thrush and speaker seem to realize this. But nature continues to flourish in beauty, while humanity, as represented by the speaker, wastes its limited time wallowing in desolate. Wallowing means cribbing about the situation. You see the birds, you see the animals, whatever happens, they don't crib, they don't cry. They carry on. You cut down trees, they grow. You break flowers, they come back again. The trees shed their leaves and again they are back. This is how the nature works. It continues flourishing its beauty. It doesn't come to an end that, oh, everything is over, I cannot move ahead. Nothing like that. They know how to mend themselves. They have that hope in them. They have that power to revive themselves. But human being, even in small situations, small circumstances, they start cribbing, they start criticizing everything around them. You see the condition at present. We all are in lockdown at home. What is the conversation at home? When will this lockdown open? I'm bored now, I cannot stay inside. How long? But then we don't see the aspect that if we are inside, we are safe. This is human nature. But if there would have been a jungle fire or some natural calamities, the animals, the birds, the flowers, the trees, they would have never criticized or cribbed for it. The speaker is only looking towards the weakening eye of the day. He is not enjoying the happy good night air. It's a small concept. Try to live in what you have at present. Forget about what is going to happen. You never know whether you'll be alive or not. This is exactly what the thrush is doing. At present, the thrush is enjoying each moment by singing such a wonderful song of happiness and joy. Not bothered, I'm going to die tomorrow. Tomorrow will look after itself on its own. What about present? I should be bothered about the present. If I'm too much into tomorrow, I won't be able to live my today. So that is the difference between the speaker and the thrush. Then I come here to the introduction. This is the introduction of the poem. Small introduction. The Darkling Thrush is a poem by the English poet and novelist Thomas Hardy. The poem describes a desolate world. Desolate means dry, dead, barren, which the poem's speaker takes as cause for despair and hopelessness. However, a bird, that is thrush, a part of the nature, burst into the scene, singing a beautiful and hopeful song. Who is ecstatic means overjoyed, ravished, enjoying each moment, what it is having. So hopeful that the speaker wonders whether the bird knows something that the speaker doesn't know. Written in December 1900, the poem reflects the end of the 19th century and the state of Western civilization. The desolation of the scene the speaker sees serves as an extended metaphor. Metaphor, you all know, is comparison. Comparing it to what? For the decay of the Western civilization. While the thrush is a symbol for its possible rebirth through religious concept, through religious belief and faith. The literary devices, the form and the language of the poem, Hardy does not bring any drama with the structure and wordplay in the poem. He was seeing through enough of that in real life. Rather, the poet chose to bring symmetry. Symmetry means a balance to the poem. He neatly divides the poem in two halves, allocating two of the four stanzas for his two main subjects, the winter evening and then the thrush. Each stanza is an octet. Octet means having 8 lines. Hardy even coined his own words. He has made his own words. Those are known as nonce words. Nonce words are those words which do not have any grammatical relevance, or they are English words. There are certain words which are created by the poet or the author himself just to bring a flavor to the poem. Then we have the rhyme scheme. If you go through the poem, you will notice, when I'll be reading the poem for you, you will notice there is a lot of rhyme scheme has been taken up. Like he's been using the word like gate, desolate, day, sky. This is what is rhyming words. The end will be quite similar. Okay? Rhyming, like in junior classes, you do know rhyming words cat, bat, mad. The sound remains same. The rhyming remains same. That is rhyming. Rhyme scheme or rhyming. Then he has also used assonance. What is assonance? Repetition of similar vowel sounds. Like example is given for you in line 17. At once a voice arose among. O and A. You see in a line, one after the other, repetition is being done. And these are both the vowels. Then you have consonants. Again, repetition of similar consonant sounds in neighboring words. But remember children, consonants can be anywhere in the sentence. It can be in the beginning or it can be at the end, in fact in the middle also. See the example here. And winter's dregs made desolate. The weakening eye of day. D, D, D. It has been underlined. These are all same letters and they all consonant. And repetition has been done one after the other in the neighboring words. So this is consonants. Next is alliteration. You have also done alliteration before. That is repetition of initial consonant word. Sounds. Just try to understand consonants and alliteration. Both are used for repetition of consonants. But when I talk about consonants, consonants can be placed anywhere in the sentence. Not as the first letter of the word. But when I talk about alliteration, alliteration is repetition of initial consonant sounds. Initial means the first. See, there is a slight difference in this line. Alliteration is a type of consonants. Here is an instance where the two are overlapped, mixed with each other. See, in blast, beruffled plume. B, B, they are alliteration because they are at the first place. L, L, L is a consonants because they are placed at different places in the word. So this is the only difference between alliteration and consonants. Otherwise, the work for both of them is similar. We also have simile here, like the tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres. Here the comparison is being done with the stems of the plant with the broken strings of musical instrument. Lyre is like a U-shaped harp. Harp is a musical instrument which was used in olden times, especially in Greek, Roman stories, lot of description of harp as a musical instrument. You have personification where frost has been compared as spectre grey, means you are comparing it to haunted landscape or you are considering it like a ghost. We also have Synecdoche. Synecdoche means it's a figure of speech which is a part where a part is made to represent the whole or a vice versa. Like people are represented by the word spirits, which seems to be fervorless. Fervorless is representing the speaker, lacking passion. He is not becoming positive, he is not becoming optimist, he doesn't find any hope, but then the hope that comes to him or what he can see in the nature is the bird, that is the thrush. Here is a summary of the poem. When the frost was ghostly grey and the depressing winter landscape made the setting sun seem lonely and abandoned, the speaker leaned on a gate. Twining means twisting plants, rising high, were silhouette against the sky like. Silhouette means dark shape, ghostly figures. Against the sky like the strings of broken lyres. All the people who lived nearby were inside their homes, gathered around their household fires. The countryside looked like a corpse. Corpse means a dead body. The cloudy sky was the roof of the corpse crypt, burial place, crypt. The speaker says, and the wind is pretended or is assumed as the song of death. The cycle of birth and rebirth seemed to have come to an end, shrunken, dried up, like the spirit of the speaker. He has no hope, and so is the surrounding. But then he heard the joyful song of a bird which is frail old thrush, coming from scrawny branches. Scrawny means thin branches overhead. The song was a joyous outpouring against the evening gloom. It is like a ray of hope, a ray of light in that dark room. The dreary landscape, dreary means very scary landscape, gave Thrush no reason to sing with such overflowing happiness. But then too, within its heart, it has that positivity, that hope, that till the time I am alive, I'm supposed to be happy and enjoying each moment. The speaker wondered whether the bird got this, from where this bird has got this. He's quite pondering over this thought. He's perplexed. He's not able to understand from where this bird has got so much of positivity, so much of happiness. And if it was some hope of which he was unaware. He's thinking that there is something somewhere which is very good. There is some positivity of which I am totally unaware. I don't know. How come as a human being I don't have this hope, this happiness in me? Or he thinks that I'm not aware of this positivity which is somewhere, because of which this bird is singing with all that happiness, with all that joy. With this, children, I come to the end of part 1. In the next part, I'll be starting up with the detail, with the explanation of the poem line-wise. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.